close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream or drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill him, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for injections. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an M. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.
How you doing today? How you doing today, Chris? If you are speaking, we cannot hear you.
I didn't have my microphone on.
User error, it happens.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. How do I sound today?
You sound good. Sound came right on in.
Why, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Black Conscious Convo presents Loving in Color in Colorado. I am one half of this dynamic duo, Chris Lucas Diggins, and my co-host and partner in crime, or should I say partner in love and relations, is Queen, aka Jaleesa Hawkins. How are you doing today, young lady?
I'm doing good. I feel well rested after the week I've had, and I'm feeling nice and clean because I just washed my hair. So, everything is feeling good over here. How are you this week? How's your mental health?
I am doing good today. Like I said, I remember we talked last week. I mean, Sunday about like depression and um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's way better when my depression is better when I'm working. Like
Okay.
when I'm not focused on me, but what I can do for others.
Hmm.
So that's one of the things that I am learning right now. And then I love gummy worms. So I went,
Me too. Me too. I have a real bad thing for gummies.
oh,
Gummy worms, gummy
yeah.
bears, sour punch straws,
I'm not a
any kind of
sour
gummy. I
I'm
like
not a
sour.
sour guy that often. I'll get those every blue moon, but just in general when it comes to a gummy worm or gummies in general, yeah. I'll grab a pack.
Yeah, me too. And now they got like healthy alternative. I love what is it, Black Forest, and they're all organic gummy bears, natural sugar and no corn syrup. I'm like, oh man, and they are
Look,
still just as flavorful. Love them. I'm
um
like, I'm glad I
I
still get to
I
eat
found
them.
out about this absinthe made in the USA.
Oh no.
Yeah, gluten free, fat free, low sodium.
Ooh.
Yeah,
See, that's the only something you can do with candy. I think chocolate, no matter how you get it, it's chocolate.
right. And see, here's something that somebody made a joke about the other day. They said, it's funny. People love to say that they're vegan, and when it comes to being vegan, Oreos are considered a vegan meal. So if you're sitting on the table eating Oreos and you're vegan, that's not going to stop you from gaining weight.
Right. And we not really even messing with Oreos right now because of the way they treat their employees. Don't
Right?
buy Oreos.
Yeah, Nabisco has always been a vicious company, though. Like,
For real.
I mean,
You would think the pandemic would give them some heart, right? No.
I mean, you would think that since they have the golden ticket to all the freaking the greatest snacks, like, uh, you would be better people. But I guess
Right.
it is true when it comes to sugar. What's always sweet ain't always good.
True story.
So, beyond that, young lady, we're at part two of love and religion.
Yes. Where would we like to pick up this conversation at?
We was talking about magic the last time before we kicked off, and you had to make some runs and with the kitties,
Yep.
and I wanted to just make sure that we made it to just exactly an hour to make sure we didn't hold you up because I know mother's time is precious.
For real, yo. And Mother's Day is never done.
Period.
So,
That's when once again that's why I was like, let me help and proceed this. One of the things I was gonna say when it comes to love and religion is when it comes to loving yourself, one of the things that helps me when it comes to religion wise is me being thankful for what I have been able to experience when it comes to when some people say they sacrifice.
mhm.
They go, "Oh, well, I sacrifice this and I sacrifice that." Um my thing is like I know that I love marijuana, right? I love marijuana. I am so addicted to marijuana.
Mhm.
Um, that every year, from January 1st till January 31st, I sacrificed that to God. So I
Okay.
know what it's like to go without. So I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So um like fasting, I know there are people that do a fast
Mm-hmm.
for 12 hours. And I understand the reason behind sacrificing a fast every day to go 12 hours without eating and only drinking water. You're hungry. So that allows you to be thankful and grateful for what you're able to do for yourself and to provide for your family. Because right now, people aren't grateful and thankful for just being able to go into their refrigerator and just open it up and see something in there.
Right.
And then you have those that aren't even eating, which is really scared in America. That one right there is completely baffling, that we have hunger, that we have children going hungry every
Right
day
here in the
in
land of
America.
the
Yeah.
brave and the free.
And we're supposedly the greatest country in the world, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things. And like I
The
said, for
myth of the
me,
American dream.
right? And for me, that's what I mean. That's what sacrificing for love. That's what me believing in God has taught me, is that there are reasons for sacrifice and what we're sacrificing for. And this is why, for myself, I hold sacrificing that one sexual preference accountable to everything, because that one thing shouldn't be so demanding by people that are interested in me. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of it just has to do with the penis, you know? The penis wants what the
people
penis
having pen,
wants.
people having penis envy. Yes,
If your penis wants what the penis wants, you know? It wants to be in some dark hole.
I
It's
don't
gonna
think it's
find one
like
to
a
put it in.
look. I don't think it's a find a dark hole. I think in general, just because of the motion in the ocean, you know what I mean? Like that's what it wants to do. But like,
I mean, the penis is designed to go in the vagina. It's gonna
correct.
want to
There you
be in a
go. See
hole, a
that
tight, dark, wet hole. The
that's
penis
what
is
I'm
gonna want
saying.
what it wants, and
Right.
so
But
it's gonna find a
to
way to do it, whether it be a dog or a cow or a sheep or a butthole.
that's the problem. Like, oh my gosh, and people don't even realize that there are STDs that you get from having sex with
With
animals.
animals and dead bodies.
Oh, we don't even want to discuss that. Ugh.
Yeah,
Just to think about,
it's something
like,
that
you
girls
give
really
me.
gotta think about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But this is what I was having a conversation with somebody. Um, I was having a conversation with the guy the other day. About how males who are in the closet and in relationships with a female will go unprotected sex with guys. So they sneak around with guys, have unprotected sex, and then they bring it back to their lady.
Yep.
And there's no moralistic integrity within any of that. And I would like to know, especially how in the black community, and this is just like I said, for me growing up, I know a lot of gay people that go to, I know a lot of black gay males that go to church. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, where does the moral and immoral come in when it comes to us as LGBTQ? I don't know about individuals that are straight, You know what I mean? I do know that there are levels of moralistic value when it comes to them,
Hmm.
when it comes to being straight. But once again, um, that's the individuals that are curious but not willing to go that far, which I can accept. But where do we hold our where is our, you know what I mean, like our, because somebody made the comment, this is where this is coming from, somebody made the comment that it's almost like when straight people stand up for being straight, they now get canceled.
Where does that happen?
I mean, whenever straight people pretty much do straight things, they're being ostracized for being straight. Like, you be too
I mean,
manly. Oh,
yeah, I
that's
don't
that's
know
extra
that.
manly. Your macho ness is too macho. You know, if
I don't see this in any world. I think there's a time and a place. Like you can't be going around being mad, machismo, macho at damn Walmart to people. Like, but you at the gym, all right. Like, okay, you wanna puff your chest out and shit at the gym, cool. Like, whatever. You on the court, y'all playing basketball, all right. But like, don't be just doing that shit randomly in public. I think there's a time and a place for certain behavior, but I don't really see. I mean, straightness is everywhere because straightness is the default setting. So it's everywhere in everything we do. It's so I just don't see it. I don't see nowhere where people see two straight people kissing and they're like, oh my God, y'all need to
um,
get a
a hip hop
room.
artist, a hip hop
Da-da-da-da-da.
artist made the statement that when, like, their analogy was Cardi B went off on a reporter, called them a faggot, and said she have their ass shot. And or I mean, let me change that last part. I don't specifically know that last part.
Okay.
However, she called him out. The video is out there. There are definitely outlets speaking about it, but at the same time, they're saying individuals like the baby get called out, and he didn't even mention violence towards the homosexual community or specifically at the homosexual community when he made his statement. It was just he made a statement, and yet the levels of punishment for those or critiquing of those, let's say that, is different.
Well, I'll explain why. That's because the power dynamic is different between the baby and Cardi B. At the end of the day, Cardi B is still a woman. And she can call gay men a faggot or whatever, but at the end of the day, a gay man is still a fucking man. So if he wanted to, that be it for Cardi B. Like if he really wanted to defend himself with violence, that be it for him. So the level of threat that comes from a woman versus a man is different because a man has the power to put some action behind that word. Like there's some real life
She is
consequences that can
also under
happen.
investigation for pilling males and getting their money.
Yeah, I don't even look at that. I don't even. For me, when you is dealing with strippers and prostitutes, that is the territory. Like, what did you expect? When you was going to, you are taking a risk when you deal with the black market. Everybody know that. You go and buy drugs, there's a chance that shit could be laced. Everybody participating in that shit knows it. So now we
No,
want to
because see,
demonize the
I wasn't
prostitutes
that
and
drug
the
dealer. There,
sex rec.
when I
I mean,
sold
sure
dope,
you were.
there
You sure you
wasn't
were.
no stepped
But
on or none of that shit. Like,
as a customer and somebody who used to buy
if
marijuana from the streets, we always knew, like, man, looking at it,
no,
making sure.
I knew my marijuana dealers. Like,
Fortunate for you, I
yeah,
did
I'm saying,
not.
because everything that I'm speaking of, like, that happened here. Like, Like even okay, I was gonna trap in college when I was in Atlanta, and I watched the way that they trapped, and it was like, no, there is nothing about the code that fits me doing trapping. More power and respect to those that made it in the trap like 2 Chains and was able to get out. Um, but just in general, the way that I
But
was an
that's
honest
why.
dope dealer here, and it was like I didn't have to step on shit. Like my shit was everybody knew I had that tight white. Like you knew if you called me, you was gonna get the best crack that you ever had. Like period point blank. I always made my shit extra saucy. Like my shit was not, you know what I mean? It
But that
wasn't
is real
wasn't
great.
stepped
But
on. Like
as a
that didn't make no
customer,
sense.
we take the risk. We know that when we is going out, we know going out to buy, the dude could not even have nothing to sell or pull a gun on you and just rob you. Like you know the risk when you doing that type of stuff. It's the same thing when you dealing with sex workers. And Cardi B was a sex worker. So I don't like that now. Like maybe she didn't feel like sucking his dick that day. And so she just put a little sleeping pills in, but she still needed to pay rent. That is the
Word,
shit.
that
I've
is the
heard of
honest to
strippers
God
coming to
truth.
parties and pulling up with guns and calling dudes over to rob the whole thing. Like that is street shit. So like don't come crying when you playing in the streets and then the streets burn you. Like what? They
Look,
expect Cardi B to have some type of higher moral standard. She was a stripper hoe. She got a whole song called Stripper Hoe.
right? Look, once again, let's talk about something. What you smoking?
I am not smoking right now. I'm breathing in the amazing fumes of these essential oils that I'm currently putting in my hair. But
Look, looks
so
the sensual oils got you motivated.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Keeping me hydrated too. I wish my hair would stay this big, but I know once it dries out, it's gonna be like I'm gonna have to pick
Well,
it back
that's
up.
just good old Colorado. I love seeing y'all women just in y'all's hair and just making like poses and all of that stuff with it. I don't know why that is just so cute to me, but it is. And
It embraces our hair means a lot more than what people want to give us credit for, because white people try to boil our hair to it's just hair. Back in the day, you could tell what tribe a person belonged to by
from
their
the braid,
hairstyle,
yes,
by the way it was braided, by the texture it was, and it was normally a rite of passage to have certain hairstyles and certain hair techniques done to your hair or certain haircuts. So our hair has always been more spiritual, more tribal than America would like to give us credit for, which is why it feels good when we see black women doing stuff with their hair, because it speaks to that ancient things in us, because an image stays in your mind. An image will last, transcend throughout lifetimes, which is why the ancient Egyptians used pictograph as their language, because a picture stays in your head longer
no,
than
they use something
words.
else for their language. What people see on the walls is the same thing that you see in every other house's walls when you walk into a house. When you walk into somebody's house, what do you see on their wall?
I don't know what you were talking about, but I study ancient Egyptian culture. I studied the ancient Kemetic practice, and they use pictographs as their language. Each picture has multiple
Do you
meanings.
talk to Egyptians?
The Egyptians of today don't
No,
speak
no,
the
no,
ancient
no, no. Do you
Kemetic
talk to them?
language.
That's my question is do you talk to them?
Okay, no, no.
Okay. This is what you need to do is have a conversation with people from Egypt that once again pass down information generation after generation. And people have said this for many of years and I didn't think about it. But because you got all these repeating symbols and things on the walls, they go, what do you think they decorated with back in the day? And I said, what do you mean? They said, the Egyptians taught the world how to be fashionable. They were the ones to wear the silk. They were the ones to wear the gold. They taught Africans to be seen, as they would say, with all of that. So when you walk into a Egyptian's home, you will see the same things that you've seen in the uh, pharaoh's tombs on the walls, because that's what people do. You put pictures up.
Okay, so let me tell you this. If
Go
you
ahead.
haven't seen the ancient Egyptian scroll, then
I
we're not
have.
having this same conversation. Because ancient Egyptians, their scrolls, their books are written in pictograph.
Now
They're
you
all there's no words. They're all different pictures and they're all different symbols. That
now
is how they spoke, and that's how they translated word throughout history. Now, granted, they may have taken these same symbols and used it to decorate their homes, but
if
even
that
the
was the way that
decorations
they
have
spoke,
meaning.
why is Aramaic the language of their day?
Their language is that because the Aramaic, the actual Muslim people, conquered ancient Egypt 3 different times.
Right.
So their language has been
Not the
lost.
Muslims. You had the Persians. They were the first ones to conquer
The
Egypt.
Persians, then the Greeks, and the Romans, then also the Muslims. They went
Right.
there, they were
Well,
the last group
they didn't
there.
have to conquer it. It was already theirs.
Same difference,
They already speak Islam, should I say? The
same
tongue of what
difference.
yeah, the
The
tongue.
main point of the matter is that they don't speak their ancient language anymore, and the only thing they have left is these scrolls, which are all written in pictures and symbols, and that
Farsi
is
is
the
the
way they
last
did it.
language connected to Aramaic, and all Persian descendants speak Aramaic. They speak Farsi. Um, Only reason why I know that is because there are two nurses that I've worked with from the region. Um, I've always been inquisitive when it comes to people's life and religion, where they come from. Because not just reading about something lets you know something, but when you hear people speak of, like the original book of King Solomon's Mines states how when they landed in Africa and started marching inward from the southern coast of Africa, they started to see an ocean of black on land. They thought it was an ocean on land. And as they got closer and closer, this ocean of black became people. No one has ever described black people in masses like that. It sounded so beautiful just to hear an ocean of black. You okay over there?
Yeah, I didn't. Were you done? I didn't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
were done or not. I was just waiting, and then I saw someone had commented, so then I commented back. And,
Oh
hi,
yeah.
welcome.
Hi, yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, so I don't know
I
what we
mean
were talking about
that
originally.
basically I was talking about how you were telling me how pictures were the language of Egyptians, and I was just
That
like,
is
well,
their written language.
their written language. There you go. Gotcha. See, because remember, I don't know if you remember your first, not our first conversation, but the second show we had. You said we need to be clear. We need to be clear and precise about the information that we're presenting.
Mhm.
And that was my reasoning behind that.
Yeah, so I was talking about pictogram, which is their written language. They didn't have letters, and even the Hebrew text is different from how they wrote their actual language in ancient Kemetic Egypt. It was all
Oh yeah.
pictures. And then even the pictures, taking these same pictures and how they placed them in the room, they still had certain meanings for why those certain images were chosen and why they were put there and what they represented.
Once again, when you walk into folks' houses, you see the
So,
family on the wall.
or an altar in the corner, or the
Yeah.
altar normally has different little
See,
thingies on the altar. They'll
there
have
you
different type
go.
of
See,
birds or
you have
feathers or different
yep
types of oils, and a lot of
candles.
the
Yep.
pictograms that they use, or the birds that the feathers are, or where oils, the different plants that represented the certain type of oils. And this is what they would use to decorate. So sometimes you would see a bird holding, a certain type of plant, and depending on what that plant was, it translated to a certain herb, which had some type of spiritual or healing remedy to it. So they all had meanings, and they all represented something, even if they were just there for decoration.
Oh yeah. And that is what is so interesting about the past. We also have to remember in the past, things weren't as complicated as we make life now.
Yeah, I don't even know how to say that, because I feel like they had so much more awareness of like humans and how we worked and what how our bodies worked and our spirits and all that other stuff. And I feel like nowadays we just have like more technical stuff. Like we got more computers and cars and stuff like that, but people don't understand how their body works, or why their emotions are the way they are, or don't realize how the environment or nature, affects their body. So it feels like, you know, where they had simplicity, they also understood the complexity of the human nature. And where we have simplicity, we completely lack the understanding of how our body works.
It says they want to join.
Who's
However,
they and why?
um, I don't know how to say the name. I don't want to mess up the name either.
Yeah, this is why it's very important to reach out prior to ask about joining,
Yeah.
so that we know who we are inviting on, and what you're about and what you represent, and what you're going to contribute to the conversation. So, I mean, if you're serious about joining us next show, please send Chris a message, and we can see about making that happen.
Or, excuse me, because I know.
Set the fire, set the gas.
Right? Excuse me, because I never said what I was smoking.
Oh, yeah, that
I
is right.
I am back on that jealousy, goddammit.
Ooh, I love that
It's an
name.
indica. It's an indica body
You and your
pain.
indicas.
I do, and only because I am also ooh, excuse me.
Hmm.
I am also a cancer survivor. I've beat the first round with chemo and radiation the first time. Second time I used nothing but CBD, marijuana CBD, 1-to-1 tinctures. uh which basically turned my okay, let's not even just say that I just used marijuana. I made a lifestyle change and started paying attention to more of the things that I put into my body. I I say I have a gummy worm fetish or a gummy fetish. At the same time, though, I may not buy gummy worms for a month or two.
Same.
You know what I mean? Whereas
In my past, I was buying them daily.
not even just daily, just in general, like whenever I felt like it, like
Yeah, pretty
it
much.
could, it
Every
could be.
time I went to the gas station to put gas in the car, it's like,
There
oh,
was,
getting some gummies and some gas.
you know what I mean? And then, like I said, selling dope, like shit, don't even like a nigga was always just
Ready.
always. But that is the reason why I smoke indica because whenever the temperature changes plus or minus 20 to 25 degrees, my body goes into a form of just ow.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's like once again, that's a form of arthritis that comes with, you know. However, back to our conversation. Um, when it comes to basically, yeah, sacrificing is something that I don't think a lot of people do anymore. Like think about how many kids call their parents by first name. Like the respect factor in general is what a lot of the the people of today don't have. Like somebody told me that, and she's an elder woman. She said this boy told me if I coughed in his direction that he was going to knock me out. I said, this was a young man that told you this? She said, yeah. I've never known young men to just be that ignorant from jump when it comes to um black people and our elders.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something
For
that
me, I mean, again, we always had the preferences with the fact that, we grew up in different places. So for me, not at all. I've seen that, I have recently had a conversation that disturbed my soul. I had a conversation with my mom who told me about a friend that she had back when we were in Florida, and the friend had kids, so she had a son that was around my age. And so I asked her, like, well, how is such and such? Like, how's he doing? And she's like, girl, he's in jail. He's been in jail since he was like 18, or well, even before that, since 16. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, because he was living with his auntie and he tried to rape her. And I was like,
oh my
what?
god.
And so, hearing like that was back in Florida. And then for me, like living in the hood, like it was nothing for, to see a man like all of a sudden get up on a woman like, what the fuck, what you say? Bitch, I did it. It's not I've seen
Now see,
that
and
before.
that's the thing, like for me out here it's always been someone has always been drunk or you know what I mean? Just that's when we seen that shit in the hood. Like it wasn't just niggas just acting like that just because they knew that they could act like that. Like I remember seeing men when they started to act like that there were other grown men come in and even step up and knock a nigga out when he acted like that.
hmm And it wasn't like that way where I was from. But you gotta remember, like, jail, the prison, the prison, the pipeline, the jail is serious in the hood. So most of the men that are in the hood ain't over 21, 22. Most of them is young
The
because
average, yes,
all the old
and
men
that's so
are in
bad.
jail. And so when all of them are around the same age, they just get together in these little cliques and they don't check each other. They laugh at each
Because you
other.
can't, yeah, because you can't. I mean, you're you got
And sometimes, yeah,
there's
they
a
can't. Like,
there's
the
a
dude who's the
scientific study
troublemaker
about
is like,
there's a scientific study about elephants male elephants running rampant without a male elder. That is exactly what men of color do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's black, brown, and I think that's just tribal people in general. Um, we follow the greatest warrior. We believe in the greatest, the wisest of our warriors. You know what I mean?
Or
Like
the strongest.
Tupac wasn't just super thuggish. You know what I mean? Tupac walked thug life. He when a cop tried to kill him for no reason, he fought back. So that made him a soldier. And then he was also wise. His wisdom was way beyond his age
Mm-hmm.
for us at that time. Like for him to know the information that he knew about the honorable Marcus Garvey. You understand? To know the information of why Martin Luther King was killed before we knew why we just thought it was because I have a dream. That's what a lot of us thought. We thought Dr. Martin Luther King was killed because of I have a dream. When in all actuality it was from his To Americas speech.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when the government deemed him a threat to national security because he was going to motivate the poor to stand up against tyranny. And that would have been all colors that he would have motivated.
That's true. And you know what? I mean, the truth about Tupac is, you can't really have a Tupac without having Black Panther parents. Like, you can't
Period.
really have a Tupac who can, represent the gang culture because he grew up in the hood, so he knows what
Well,
it's
that's
he
that's
knows what
what
it's about. But he also had Panthers for parents, so he learned
that's what a lot
his
of us grew up
history
with
and
out here in Colorado too. Is in general, our parents watched the Black Panther Denver office be blown up. We also watched the the Muslim office get raided when Malcolm X was alive. Those two things were on 5 points here in Denver.
yeah. So that is the truth of the matter. Like you said, I've always seen that type of stuff, but that's because where I'm from, there's no real elders in the neighborhoods. Most of the grown men are in jail, or they don't have the courage necessary to stand up to 5 or 6 young men when they go to check one of them for acting crazy.
Got you. Did that hurt growing up knowing that there are males that are just afraid to stand up for what's right?
I mean, yeah, it hurts every day. I mean, I just saw like a TikTok. It was going around, and it was like, "Do Black women feel protected by Black men?" And everybody was like, "No, no, we don't." And this is part of the reason why, because we know that for some of y'all, if it ain't a white man who's doing it, then y'all ain't gonna get involved. And sometimes, if it is a white man, y'all still may not get involved. There's a lot of like, and I understand it's just fear. I could go to jail, I could be murdered. There's a lot of fear there. But I'm sorry, like, it doesn't. I can understand it, but it doesn't help. It's still It just is a reality that I'm unprotected. Like I know that if I'm out here, I have to be mindful of the way I interact with black men, because if they decide to pop off or get aggressive or violent with me, the chances of somebody else coming to save me is very slim.
And that right there is what bothers me. Like there there's not there has not been a time, like I said, I remember the last time I even thought of hitting a woman. And I was in middle school. Like I said, slapped the taste out of my mouth. Um, that that to me is the epitome of the weakest type of men. That's not even a man, excuse me, the weakest type of male. Because there's no way, and you know what? I can't even just say that that's a weak male thing, because I have seen big women who abuse their little man that they're with. So I think it's just a power thing in general.
It really is. I heard a quote this week that was really great, and I don't remember who said it. It'll come back to me. But they said, like, whenever a person is feeling disenfranchised or powerless in their life, they'll look for somewhere else to establish dominance and show power. And so, when you live in the hood, you feel powerless all the fucking time. You ain't got no choice but to be there. You can't really go nowhere else. And when you do go places, people treat you like shit. And so then in the hood, everybody is just looking for a way to establish some type of power and show some type of dominance, be it women with their kids or women with other women. Sometimes women who are fortunate enough to have that, strength dynamic, it may be with their partners. Even when that strength dynamic isn't present, I've seen girls abuse that men ain't supposed to hit them, still be swinging on their boyfriends or, whoever. So there's that. And then for men, it's the same way. Be it with each other men always feeling like they got to check other men or puff their chest out at other men, or it be
Yeah, now
flexing on women all the time.
that is
So
there are and see, this is why I honestly now believe that we are living in a world of individuals afraid to speak to their elders honestly, about their truths. You know what I mean? Like you always used to hear the stories of I remember when my mama found out I was selling crack, she kicked me out. You know what I mean? And then you hear the story of, oh yeah, we talked about it and we over it now. But I get what she was saying. It was because of the simple fact that it was a drug and there was no point in me doing drugs because she had raised me to be better. And you know what I mean? So
right.
there was this time that, yeah, even when you got caught, you held yourself accountable to being caught. And folks don't even hold themselves accountable to being caught anymore.
That's true. And people, honestly, I'm gonna say this about my generation. I'm gonna use the example of Soldier Boy. My generation don't appreciate honest advice. They see it as hate. Like, oh, you just being
Correct.
a hater. Oh, you just hating on me. Oh, you just speaking negativity on me. Like, no, your parents is just your parent, your family member. They're just preparing you for the reality that they've experienced. Like, we don't always know that you're gonna be the exception to the rule.
Look,
We
I
just
see.
know that the rule is like this for everybody else. And so I brought up Soldier Boy because I remember seeing this interview where he was like, man, I don't talk to my family, I don't talk with my auntie because none of them believed in me when I was trying to rap. They kept telling me I need to, boy, stop trying to do that rap shit and stay in school and get your grades up and stuff like that. And now look at me, I'm on. And I'm like, yo, they wasn't telling you nothing that wasn't good for you. Even if you did make it as a rapper, you still should have stayed your ass in school and maybe knew how to read and knew some shit, because now you in these shitty ass contracts and you broke from all we can tell out here just dreaming for a hit. So sometimes hard tough advice is just that. It ain't always hate, and my generation has a hard time seeing that.
I was watching. I think it was either last week or the week before last on the Breakfast Club, an interview with a black man who said, when it comes to belief and faith systems, at when when it comes to putting those things in our children, they have to see them within us from ages 0 to 5. And that's where they get the comprehension of faith.
Hmm.
Because after age 5, they start to see the world and take in information of the world, because that's when we as parents put them in kindergarten.
That's true. Well, this is a great conversation, but I want to bring it back to the topic because I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about religion and love, had you heard about the fact, as far as magic, that there is a such thing as sex magic?
Yes, it is right before blood magic.
Hmm.
Blood magic is the everybody knows it's when the sacrifice of an animal is done, but some people take it to the next level. However, we're not talking
And
about
some
that. We're
people
talking
don't
about
use sacrificial blood at all. Let me dispel that. That is movies. That is one type of way of getting blood, but for most witches and women, use their menstrual blood.
either which way. When it comes to using blood, that's the whole problem with it, is the power of the blood. All blood has power,
Hmm.
and that is also an ultimate line. um it's like when people call upon that last energy, that last level of chi that they have in their on Japanime, like that one. It's that one move they don't let nobody know, unless they really have to do it, and that's what that is. And you don't do that often, and yet you got people that think they know but they don't know. However, we're talking about sex magic. Yes, there is. If the two people that are connecting are projected on the same goal, right? The
Yeah,
same purpose.
or even just one person,
I don't
because
know. I don't know the specifics like that. I just know that.
well, that's why I'm saying it. You could do it with two people or with just yourself. Um, you don't actually, you can masturbate and it still be considered sex magic. It's just as long as you're masturbating with intention and you're focused on your goal and you set up, the altar, your room is a sacred space for what you're trying to create. You can totally masturbate your own your own desires into fruition.
That is deep right there.
Think of all
Um,
the senseless masturbating out there. And if you just thought about, I want to be a millionaire, who knows?
look. I'm gonna play
I want
something for you. I'm gonna
$1 million.
play. Look, I'm gonna play something for you. I'm gonna play something for you.
more on the idea of magic developing a bad reputation and it being marginalised. When did that start happening and why?
Yes, it's really interesting. Well, I mean, it happens in different times and places, and has again a whole series of historical and cultural forces. I think in some ways the notion of heresy that obviously comes out of a Christian and indeed an Islamic world, which applied to other branches of thought, was then applied to magic. Where people practicing magic, possibly their first allegiance wasn't to a god or the church or whatever. But then, as many people have said, there's a class dimension to this and there's a gender dimension to this as well.
Remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
There is a class dimension to this, and there is a gender dimension to this. So when it comes to magic and religion, it had to be controlled by not just anybody or anyone. Someone decided to make themselves the masters of all magic and said, we will say what magic is and what magic isn't, and used religion to back it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we honestly believe now that magic is part of everyday life, including religion, or are we still not knowing though? Like, I do recognize that the youth are more open to anime, and anime teaches a lot when it comes to invoking emotion in people.
Mm-hmm.
So when it
It
comes
also
to your
teaches you a lot
generation,
about religion too.
it does, and how to
Depending
be
on
faithful in several different types of religion.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's several different types depending on which anime you watching. You
Yeah.
have some overly Christian, anime, and they have some that are devoted to nature, and a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff is devoted to the Japanese religion, which I can't pronounce, which is the worship of nature and believing that all creatures have a spirit that represents them.
Have you seen the new anime on Netflix, Shaman, the Shaman King?
No, I've just caught up on My Hero Academia and Doctor Stone and a
Oh my
couple other
gosh.
ones that I was watching.
Look. Throw that Shaman King on, just throw the first episode in there, and then Trace. Oh my gosh. That is based on a Filipino history.
Ooh,
Yeah.
very
Did
interesting.
you
I
know?
love Filipino culture.
Right? Because a lot of people don't know that a lot of their names are Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of their language is it has Spanish pieces in it.
Yeah. And it is so amazing to hear some of their stories, their scary stories, and reasoning behind it. So that's what leads me to things like this. Hold on one second.
So, Chris, do you think there has been a propaganda war waged by science and religion throughout history against magical practices? Has it been used to vilify and target minorities? I mean, we touched on it there, but women and witchcraft come to mind, for example.
Definitely, yeah. So the millions of women across Europe who were found guilty of being witches. I mean, a small number of men, but not just in Europe, but also in North America and elsewhere, and the huge amounts of misery and death that caused. And again, there are so many sort of layers of history that it's quite possible that people were using and developing other forms of healing, other forms of dealing with life's crises. The wise woman in the village is the sort of positive view of witchcraft, which can then quickly be turned on its head as sort of associating with the devil and devil worship and all of those sorts of things. And of course, the final woman imprisoned for witchcraft was in the Second World War. So I mean, these things aren't very far behind us. And I think in these days where intolerance is all around us, one wouldn't necessarily say that those things wouldn't come back.
I agree. This is why I work so hard to say that I'm a witch in order to try to destigmatize witches and show people that it's not demons and spooky and evil and all of that you think it is or that you've heard.
Well, people had to be put in check morally. Does that make sense? That was their reasoning behind it, that they believed that would help to keep people in check morally. That was their supposed
That was
not
bullshit, as old boy just said in the clip that they
oh
totally
no, I'm not
used
saying
it
that they were
to
right for it.
demonize and
Yeah,
to
I'm not
humiliate.
saying
They
that they
used it
were
for
right for
political gain and for power. It had nothing to do
Correct.
with the morality or what was right or wrong. It had all to do with the fact that they could do it.
No, we
Really,
have
it
to
was
look at,
really.
if we're going to talk positive, we have to talk the negatives too. You know what I mean? Not to say that we're cheerleading them on or anything like that. Either side, giving information. I I I I believe in the balance. I know you know what that means. I believe in the balance. I I don't believe that the universe will allow, or that it wants to allow, either side to have more control over the other. Good cannot outweigh bad. Bad cannot outweigh good. Good can never have control over bad. Bad can never have control over good. The balance must be maintained, right?
I mean, I don't. That seems like so simplistic. I can't, because there's a lot of bad happening right now. I mean, a lot of bad on a global scale.
Correct.
That's gonna get real bad here real soon, and
Correct.
so I think we have been way out of balance for that matter for years. Um, and when it comes time to put things back into balance, it's going to be a lot of casualties. It's going to be a lot of loss. It's going to be a lot of hurt and pain. And
Correct.
it's not going to be a pretty thing. So my thing is that like good and bad is so like it's so obtuse because like no person is all bad or all good. Everybody's just a
Correct.
series of both of them, you know?
And that's what is going to happen. You have individuals, this is something that I am able to see. People in the past made literal statements when it came to things. The water came rushing in and flooded the whole village. They seen the waters part. They watched fire fall from the skies. You know what I mean? Those were literal statements. Whereas we've put so much fluff in between our in our conversations that it's our conversations sometimes can't be taken serious because of the diction that we use. Like, you ever notice how people use a big word and go, "Ooh, it's got to be serious." They use the big word.
Mhm.
Right? But now Now everybody's conversation is just like, that's what they think when once they get done with talking with somebody. It's like, all right, we had a conversation about that. Yeah, but like right after you talk to somebody, they'll go do exactly what they said they wouldn't do in a conversation.
People like discipline, man. I know I do. My bad. I'm a
The thing
true
is, I
fruit
mean, nobody's
spirit.
perfect,
True.
right? Nobody's perfect. That's the whole point. But when you're making the same mistakes over and over, what is that besides insanity?
Yes. You got it. It's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, I mean, just like is it, but is it something else?
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I think you hit it right there. Right there on
Look,
the head.
let's I'm gonna finish this clip, this last clip. Let's see this.
Absolutely. Gosh, fascinating. Has the idea of magic being benign or malign been interpreted across history in different cultures? Are there distinct magical traditions, Chris?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, so a famous tradition is that of shamanism in the steppe. And shamans are figures picked out, often men, but quite often women as well, who are picked out at an early age, are subjected or trained in a whole way of being in the universe, and the shaman's broad role is to deal with things going wrong in the spirit world. So often in step cultures, people think of a sort of tripartite universe. There's they think of the world tree. So the branches of the tree are up in the heavens in the sort of airy realms. The trunk is the world that we live in, and then the roots are down into the ground, this hidden realm where often things are seen to be reversed, living things are dead, and so on. And the shaman is a person who, if something is going wrong in the world that we live in, reindeer are dying or the river dries up or whatever, then the roots of that, the reason for that will be the spirits. So the shaman is dispatched into the spirit world, and they're one of the few people who can not only go there but have some chance of coming back again. And the spirit world may be inhabited by other creatures, bears, reindeer, whatever. And the shaman wrestles with these things, tries to come to some accommodation, and then comes back up. And in these cultures, then everything is seen to be animate. So not just the things that we would take, living things that we would take to be animate, but rocks, mountains. So it's a very different conception, very interesting conception. So the shaman has to intercede with the forces of the mountain as well as the forces of the reindeer in various different ways. So shamanism has a very particular history. The Russians in the 20th century tried to wipe out shamanism. If you go to the steppe today, which I have quite a lot, then there are all sorts of. I had a shaman in Mongolia cured my toothache.
I kept listening to that and I just kept wanting to go, it's shaman! It's shaman! And it made me think of the Avatar, because for all you nerds out there who watched the Avatar was a shaman. It was his responsibility to balance the spiritual realm, and there was plenty of episodes where he would get to a village and they would be hiding for some type of monster, and it would be a monster of the forest because they had burned the forest or something, and so he had to go in there and calm those spirits down. So
yes,
Very,
life
very good job.
and death. He or a shaman is able to communicate with both. You're right. That is see,
And they
and that's
recognize the spiritual realm as being more than just humans and animals, but the forest, the river, the lake, the mountain, all of them have spiritual representation.
people don't think about what God created before He said, "Let there be light." And like I said, I don't want to put he. I apologize. However, before there was light, what was he doing? Or what was God doing? Sitting in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, why was you sitting in the dark? You know what I mean? What was going on? Like, in general. You know what I mean? One of the things that fascinates me about when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to, well, in general, the stories, the one thing that you hear is how God learns to punish us, to goes from punishing us directly to going, let me give some forgiveness clause, you know? Um, the universe is so freaking grand. There's so many I don't knows. As much as we always love to go, I know. Like, even though I believe in God, the fact of the matter is I don't know. And that's the whole purpose of faith, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. You know, I guess so. Faith is something that I totally think is synonymous with, religion. Um, I don't have
Well, you
faith
have
that,
to believe in what you do, correct?
but I think that belief is different than faith. Or maybe they're the same. I don't know. I just always saw them as being
See, that's a deep one,
differently.
right?
Yeah, I always saw belief as being something because you can have a belief based
When
off of
when you
facts or whatever. But I think faith is something that you don't need proof to have.
when you put magic in it, I totally get that statement
Mm,
because in general, if you don't believe that you have the ability to do it, then you won't make it happen. That's something that they show in Hunter x Hunter repeatedly.
hmm
You have already lost if you do not believe that you can do what you have come to do.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Whereas, like I said, I think faith. You have that regardless. A lot of times, I mean, at least in my experience, when I've asked people or when people are asked about God, they usually go, I don't need to see proof of that. I have faith. I have a faith in my God. So that's why I just
And
thought that they're kind of different for me.
I have seen, like I said, my years in healthcare, I have seen the works of the universe and all its abilities. Because once every test has been ran, once every diagnosis has been gone through, and then all of a sudden somebody bounces right back, we be like, holy shit. Whatever that was, there, because
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, because there's people don't realize how many people come into the hospital or come into a dialysis unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are so many people that come in. There are people that you go and you meet these people in the streets and they go and you say, what do you mean they can't figure it out at the doctor's office? Like, that's the whole point of the doctor. And that's the truth. Like, there are things that are just the factor of the universe. Only one that can figure it out is the universe. And we got to ask the universe to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There are some things that probably won't become clear until once we become one with the universe in whichever way you think
Right?
that is, But,
I've
you know,
seen
human beings, we're amazing. I wish we would, acknowledge just how amazing we are.
Oh, I know, right? That's and
Yeah, we
and
are
and
amazing.
and stop being afraid when people do mention how amazing a person is. Like,
Hmm.
I think that is one of the reasons. But like I said, besides the fact that I talk too much,
Ha!
um, I think because I only deal with people. Not even that I only deal with people. When it comes to me emotionally, I only deal with people that I believe that if we're fighting together, we become like, you know what I mean? Just a powerhouse.
Hmm.
And to to motive and to believe in someone like that is it's super powerful. At the same time though, I see why people relationship wise don't deal with that because it can hurt when it especially when it comes to your emotions that you have never been taught to be aware of.
Hmm.
People jump in and jump out. You notice that?
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to magic, I think they're both synonymous. It's just like Nin. I think that religion and magic are synonymous. I think that you have to believe in the magic and have faith that the magic is going to do what it's supposed to do because I believe that if you cast the wrong spell with the wrong faith behind the spell or the wrong intent, which faith is, somebody will make the wrong spell. And I think there have been a lot of people casting spells that they didn't know that they were casting or had the ability to cast. And that's what we're in right now is a whole lot of individuals that have this intuitiveness that you have, yet they don't believe in the spells that they're casting. So they go, "Oh, it's just." Once again, like in
That's
sex
true.
magic, sex magic. My I told you the story. My grandmother said the dick is like a magic wand. You better watch the spell that you cast with it, because you may have to undo it.
You may have to. But that just goes back into soul ties, and how people don't realize that sex is soul ties and how to manage those soul ties responsibly. You are bound to the people you have sex with. It
Well, I mean, if you want to say it like that, I can give you some good scientific information based on that. Everybody that has had sex with somebody is still part of that somebody. That is the one stain that never comes out of a human. Isn't that sad?
no, I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
not that it's
sad.
sad, but I'm saying, isn't that powerful? Excuse me, I
It
apologize.
is. It is
That's
powerful.
powerful.
It's just like the womb. That's why I think the womb is amazing. It literally stores up the DNA of every man I come in contact with. Like it's just building up a treasure trove of information,
Correct. That is the
storing it
honest to
up. I
God.
totally believe women can be pregnant on their own if ever pushed into a circumstance. Like, why else is it storing up DNA, saving up sperm for a rainy day?
I do not know. That right there is a question that we should definitely delve into. Why is our DNA so strong? Do you think we can get somebody to come in and conversate about that one?
DNA, I mean, we'd have to find a genealogist or a bioengineer, chemist, or something like that. No, maybe a bioengineer. They probably know a little bit more about the structure of DNA. But I don't even think they'd be able to answer why it's so powerful.
I
I don't
mean,
think, there's so much
I
stuff
mean,
that we don't fully grasp or understand, and that
look,
just,
let's call it what it is. I mean, it's got several different names. It's got cum, it's got jizz, it's got what is it? Go ahead. What is busting a nut? What is
you talking about
some?
sperm?
That's one, but what is it when orgasm? Um,
Oh.
yeah,
Well,
it's
I
got
know,
several
you can
names.
get my DNA and my orgasm, but it's not. You can't do nothing with it.
No, I'm just saying though. That's what I'm saying. But just reaching that level is what it is, right? And that's what
Yeah,
we're talking about. Why is that so powerful? Like in general, why is sex so powerful to where people will forget everything that they've come from? Completely lie to a person about everything that, like the statement I was telling you, how people love to say, "Oh, I ain't got nobody, I ain't got nobody, I ain't got nobody," and then they're in a relationship and they go and they be on the phone and they go and you say, "Who is that?" And they go, "Oh, that's my cousin." You be like, "Your cousin live here?" And they be like, "Oh yeah." And you be like, "I thought you didn't have no family though." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. No, I think this is what I think. I think it's powerful so that we can continue to be tricked into having more kids. Because honestly, there would be a lot less kids here if sex wasn't the way that kids are received. If it wasn't for the
if
fact that sex is so
no,
good and
if
enjoyable and
if
people like to
men
come
had
back to
babies,
it,
if men had babies, if men made babies and it came the same way that it come from women, understand there would be less children on this
I
world.
don't know, because women are actually having babies and we are still out here having sex.
No, I'm
So
saying
it
though,
ain't
like
gonna be some
guys,
more powerful,
if
it ain't gonna be some
guys,
more
no,
hurtful.
y'all
Y'all gonna
there'll
get used
be
to it like we get used to it. We
uh
literally forget about the pain after you have the baby.
I
Once the baby
mean, there
comes,
would be
you
there would
forget
be
about
that
it.
guy. There would be that guy that goes, I just want to experience it. Da, 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 da. But in general, in general, the world would have to get permission to make a baby with a guy. Like it would, for real, it would kill males if men like, men would be like, "Do you know what this is gonna do to my dick?"
Nah. Don't tell me it's the same.
You know what I mean? Like in general, like it would just be like, like I think honestly, woman would be the most sexually frustrated creature on this planet because guys
I
would be
mean, they're
like,
not
no,
already.
no, oh yeah. I
They're
mean,
not. So
but see,
70%
I
of
think
women ain't
that's the
never had an
sexual frustration
orgasm.
that women are bringing upon themselves by cheerleading people that can't that that are avoiding being the man. But that's just me.
No,
Um,
that's just because, women are not even taught how to play with themselves, let alone pleasure themselves. They don't even, most women
Nobody
have
is.
no
It's
idea.
just
Men,
one
y'all get to play
day.
with y'all's penis. Y'all get to
One
play with y'all's
day.
penis and bring yourselves to
No, in general,
ejaculation.
one day it just happens, and that's something that all men will tell you. One day it just happens. Not all men. Excuse me. I apologize. There are those that have naturally grown up, and one day they just happen to touch themselves. That's all that is. It wasn't that there was a mannish little boy or a nasty little boy or any of that. One day they just happened to touch, and even at that, when you're going through puberty, one day you wake up and that motherfucker is hard as a rock and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is you
I
understand?
told you I had that
Why
conversation
is
with my
this
son.
motherfucker like this?
I was like, one day you're going to wake up and your penis is just going to be hard. Like,
Yeah. And
it's going
but
to
that's the
happen.
honest to God truth. And you have no control over it. And it happens a majority of the mornings that you wake up and you go, the fuck? And you think that it's just because you're horny. And in general, it's just a natural reaction for when the body is letting go.
Fullness. That is so true. But yeah, like I said, most women, sad. A lot of them
You
don't
already
even get an orgasm until they're like
did you
40.
watch that on Explained on Netflix?
What?
That number that you gave, the percentage of women that have never experienced an orgasm.
No, this is a common conversation that happens within the, women's sexual exploration. I listen to a lot of
Maybe
sex podcasts and a lot of kink shows. And so, in women, we're constantly the sex positive women. Let me speak for myself. The sex positive women, we're constantly having a conversation about the fact that I'm shocked every time I hear that the number is still so high of women who haven't achieved the orgasm. I'm
you
just
need to
like,
watch
dang, like,
Explained on Netflix.
I cannot believe it.
You need to watch
Like, y'all
Explained on
still
Netflix.
allowing shitty dick in y'all lives? How?
But see, that's what women are allowing. Once again,
But sometimes shitty dick
females
people
don't
be good
realize how much
men.
power they hold when it comes to males and what they can honestly have males do in life. I say this all the time now. This is a new quote. Women can change the world, men can help them fight for it.
It's true. But look, all dicks is not created equal.
Correct. And
So
that's the thing.
some
And that
some
is
really
where
good,
y'all need to draw
genuine,
the line.
respectful,
Y'all need to go to each
honorable
other and say,
men
girl, no. Y'all
have
need to say,
small
girl,
penises.
no, no, no,
You know
girl.
how many men you would have out here raging in the streets if we said no to all the men who had
Yes.
small penises?
Yes. And you know what though? You know what? Guess what?
Who's gonna tame
Guess what they
Trump?
would do?
He would have
Guess what
pushed
they
the
would end up
noose.
doing? They would go, what can we do to get some yah? And you know what? When y'all put standards on the yah, men will start to be
But
made.
what is you gonna do about having a small penis?
What you mean? It's not the size of the pencil. It's
No,
the
I'm telling you, for women, the size does matter. There are some guys out
look,
there
look.
whose size
I'm
is
gonna
two
tell you right
inches, and I
now.
done seen it. I seen a guy whose
I'm gonna
penis is
tell
the
you
size
right
of my
now.
thumb.
The Asian community would tell you differently.
Nah, the Asian women wouldn't.
once again, the Asian
Because I've
community
had conversations with them.
would tell you differently. I mean, unless they're settling, you know what I mean?
They will tell you different.
I
I've had a
they're
friend who's
they're not
Korean,
they're not
very
coming up.
outspoken.
They're not coming up. You know what I mean? Like even when they say I'm a grower, not a shower, it's still not there.
Yeah, no.
And that's
I
the
can tell
thing.
you
And
that.
then at the same time though, my question is if it hits the spot, is it wrong?
It doesn't though.
What spot is it supposed to hit something inside?
Yes. You know the average vaginal canal is anywhere from 5 to 6 inches.
No, I know that.
And the G spot is normally located at the very
It
back
can
of the
also
canal.
hold up to 12 ounces of water.
Yeah, that's the overall uterus. That's not the canal though.
And I'm just saying though, that's part of it. And
So, but the
12 ounces
canal
of water, I
itself
mean, it's
is where the G spot is at. So, if you got 2 inches and my G spot is located 5 inches in,
I'm not even about to. I'm
there's
not
nothing
even
you can
about
do
to.
about that, sir.
Yeah,
So
I
women
can't.
have
I'm not
made
about to.
compromises. Like, you know what? You're a
'Cause
nice man. You're smart. You're a good father, a good provider. I'll just suck it up and never have an orgasm. That's what a lot of women are out there doing.
no, and
I
that's
could be
not
with
even.
that real mean guy who give me the best dick of my life, but he also giving a girl around the corner good dick, the girl up the street good dick, the girl at the post office is getting good dick. We
Once
all get good
again,
dick.
but y'all cheerleading that nigga.
No, they ain't. They just use a he community dick. Everybody
No.
scheduling their
Once again,
orgasms and
you're
then
saying
keeping
he
it
got good
moving.
dick.
You do.
That's the cheerlead. That's all you have. Do you? Okay, this is another man secret that we gonna have to go ahead and folks is gonna have to be mad with. Men, or should I say, not men. There are males who believe that dick is the cure for everything that females are going through. So that is all that they know to do. They don't know to be men. They're just taught, and even males with sisters say, if you give good dick, she ain't ever gonna notice anyways. So
Yeah. No, that's why divorce rates are so high.
correct.
And that's why there's a lot of baby mamas
Somebody
out
is
here.
not saying, okay, even though they have good dick, you can never tell them. But guys, there are, like I said, the end all to every argument is just give you some dick. And that may not even be the issue. The issue may be you not paying bills. And it's your time to pay the bills. But his belief at the end of that conversation is if I give her some dick, she won't think about the bills.
That's true. But there is also some men who think that the only form of love they know how to give or receive
Is
is
giving dick.
sex.
Yeah.
So for them, sometimes after that argument, it's okay. Let's have sex so that I can see that you still love me and that you still want me.
But it's
And
also a form of
I've
power
definitely been with
when
those
you
dudes who are I'm like, because I'm not a like let's have sex right after we argue type of person. I need some time, but. And I've had that be an issue for some guys that I date because, I've learned also that some people's love language is physical touch. So even if I'm not having sex, I learned to still hug and kiss after an argument to show like I still am in this, I'm still in love with you, I'm still care. But I'm not necessarily gonna give you no nookie.
yeah, see, it's man, I would love to experience a relationship But I've watched so many, so many, so many. Um, I've watched so many, so many, so many. I've helped so many, so many, so many. Just by listening, and I would love to just be able to have that experience. That's all I'm saying.
Mm. I mean, for what
Cherish
it's
though.
worth, it didn't really work. It's only good when it's with somebody who appreciates it and like it
Either
works
which way,
out. But like sometimes it's like you're doing all this effort and you're showing all this growth just for the other person to
either
not
which,
be there. That is the hardest thing about
either
being
which
self
way,
aware or something.
either which way, somebody felt something for you, your life, your well-being, for however long. You know what I mean? Like, not, yeah. Just there's somebody that acknowledges your life, that you just, if if you was to die today, that people would not assume that you're just out of town for the month before they decided to check on you.
Mm. I feel that. I received that. Thank you.
Just to see why you ain't called to talk about business. Not anything personal, to see why you ain't called to talk about business. That is what my life entails. I motivate everybody else's successful endeavors.
Do you enjoy it though? Because I feel like I do that a lot for like my family and some of my friends, but I enjoy it. Like I thrive off of helping people achieve their own goals and go after whatever they want. Like, and for me, it's a problem because I'll put myself in the back. Like I'll play in the background and I won't really show how great I am at some shit because I'll be helping somebody else show off their greatness
I
and their
will
skills and
be
their this and that.
I will be everything great that anybody needs me to be. And allow them allow them to motivate me to be as creative as I need to be for them. Not for myself, but for them. I love being creative. Yes. I love being creative. However, everything that I do since not being angry, I do to keep myself from noticing that I am alone. I am doing the things that people need to do when it comes to um what am I doing to be loved? You know what I mean? Am I being
Hmm.
respectful? Am I being honest? Am I not just talking? Am I listening? Um at the same time, the level that takes from individuals in just black community in general, it takes a lot when it comes to black guys, because I don't know any. I haven't dated outside my race.
Right.
Never tried it. Thought about it. Well, like I said, I've I'm not gonna lie. Mexican guys are extremely they're they're as they say machismo. they, they just man, like just the Latin community, like their tribal sense is something else too.
I
You know what I
like
mean?
them. I like them. Good work ethics, very strong. Those is. I mean, at
They
least for
they
Mexicans, I
love
can't
being
speak for like all Latin
they love being
communities,
providers.
but for Mexicans, for sure, hard
Mexicans love being
workers,
providers. Yeah.
paying, working. They love their men who love to shower their women with gifts and buying them nice things and taking them nice places and things like that. So, I do too. I've definitely dated some Mexican men in my day. I've dated almost not every race. There's a lot of human beings, but I've definitely dated Asian, white, Latin, Black, African, Caribbean.
Wow.
10,
Look.
9,
Once
8,
again,
7,
we went
6,
over, I think,
5,
because
4,
we cut it
3,
short last
2,
week.
1.
And we just have such great conversation.
Always. We always do.
You are such a brilliant co host. I always want to let you know this because so many people are being so negative to women in general.
That stuff is coming back to bite them in the ass. Kevin Samuels and Fresher and Fit podcast has been burning up all over the internet this last few weeks.
I don't understand this whole. I don't understand why guys cannot accept that when it comes to women, let y'all be females. Just that's y'all's thing. You know what I mean? Let y'all
I
be
do.
emotional. Let you be soft. Let you be, you know what I mean? You when a guy can't accept that girls cry, like there's something wrong. Like, how do you not want a woman who doesn't cry? Like, if she's not if she's not crying for you to be successful, once you do something, like you do something that you believed in, like you have you have individuals who want to be artists, and you work hard, and you record an album, and she's there supporting you the whole time. She's not paying for it, but she's there supporting you the whole time, and you drop the album and nobody pays attention. And you get mad, and she cries because you're not winning. If that's not somebody that loves you, I don't know why you wouldn't want that person in your life. And that's just me. And that was just an analogy.
Well, I think today's conversation was really great and really deep. It was very bright, y'all. I hope y'all was able to keep up with the ride because we covered a range of topics this episode.
When it comes to religion and magic and relationships. Oh yeah, we
I
did
feel
it.
like we didn't even spend enough time on the magic, y'all, because I got so much more to talk about all the different types and styles of magic. So feel free
You know,
to ask me some questions if y'all need. I don't mind telling you.
look, then why don't we go ahead and change that subject and go from powerful to magic? That one sounds more deeper. When
It
it
does,
comes
and I
to
would
love and
love to go
magic,
more into depth about about it and about
Love
a
and
little bit
magic.
more
I
about
guess.
sex magic and
Yeah, I mean,
family magic and all that stuff
look,
because
you can bring on that guest you were telling me about.
oh yeah, I'm still waiting to talk to her. Once I connect with her, I will definitely let you know.
Oh yeah,
I know
please
she
do
told me
tell.
to reach out to her sometime next week.
And yeah, reach out. Look, reach out and touch someone. Reach out and touch someone. I don't know if you remember those. Those were AT&T old commercials used to have collect call cards. So you got a calling card that allows you to make collect calls. And
Hey.
yeah, and AT&T. This is when you
Oh,
didn't
I
have.
do remember about the cards now. I do remember.
Yeah, you didn't have money to use the payphone. You could use an
A
ATM.
card.
Yep, collect
I
calling
do
card.
remember that.
And
You
you
brought
could
me back on that one because payphones
what
was only around for like 5 seconds when I was a kid.
for real, look. And then like I said, I seen this one post that it had a whole bunch of cell phones on it. It said, "What number are you?" And it had a whole bunch of cell phones and it was by year. And it said, "What was the first cell phone you had?" And mine was the Cricket, and it was number 3.
Go ahead.
And there was 10, and there was a total of 10 cell phones. So it was like, oh shit.
You didn't even. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, guys, it was great talking to you. Chris, I'm going to let you wrap this up because I cannot keep my niece at bay any longer.
Oh yeah, she knows that the show's supposed to be over, right? Look,
Yeah.
she's like, "You supposed to be gone already. We supposed to be doing this." All right, I
Mm,
apologize. You can reach out to all of us at blackconsciousconvo.com. I mean, on Facebook at Black Conscious Convo. You can reach both of us on IG, Queen Chalisa or Queen, um, on IG and on our website, blackccent.com. Excuse me, y'all. You know I'm high. That is www.blackccent.com. Check us out, follow us, subscribe. Who knows? Um, Reach out to us if you want to be part of the conversation beforehand. I will be posting next week's um show after this show. We're gonna go with uh a love and magic. As I say all the time, conversation rules the nation. Action speaks louder than words. Everybody, have a great rest of your day.
Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill him, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for injection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away what you thinking about. All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel the world is is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an N. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.